The Outlaws of Thunder Junction is less than a month away from release. This means that Wizards of the Coast is going to start dropping spoilers next week. But just yesterday, Mark Rosewater jumps out there and gives us the hints and teasers for this set. But is that really going to be enough to get the players super hyped and interested in this upcoming set? Stay tuned, we have a lot to talk about. With each and every Magic set release, Wizards of the Coast puts it all on the line. They are hoping for a successful product. They are hoping to make a lot of money from the players. And in some cases, these hints and teasers are a way to tantalize the player. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Now, a reminder, guys, if you'd like to see more of my content, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, as I have new content every single day of the week, and I appreciate everyone who takes the time to do so. I'm glad you're here and you're happy on the channel. Now, when we're looking at a set like Thunder Junction, you have to understand, Wizards of the Coast put out these hints, teasers, spoiler, little wordings on the cards. Now, these of course came out a couple of days ago by the time you're watching my video, and I'm not focused on all the little nuances inside because I don't need to be. There are many other content creators like MTG Historian who have already covered this at depth, so you don't need a rehash of the exact same idea. But I do want to cover a couple of key points that will lead you into understanding what Wizards of the Coast is doing, why they're doing it, and why it's likely not going to work out the way most people think it will. And that's what I'm going to explain to you guys today, giving you my opinion. Now, first let's share all these amazing teasers and hints and stuff, right? Now, I'm leaving this up here for about 10 seconds just to let you guys take a look in case you haven't seen them or in case you want to pause everything and read through them one by one. I hope it comes across as a clear indication of what these hints and teaser things are going to be like. And I do personally like when Mark Rosewater and those guys put this stuff up. If it's even him, it's probably some low-level flunky. We'll get to that. I like the idea of it. It gives you some indication, some kind of direction sense to let your mind start playing. And that is part of the marketing. That is part of the cog in the machine. It's just spinning around as one little piece to get your blood pumping. And in the past, it definitely has worked far better than most people want to admit into getting them to buy boxes. Does it work as well today? No. Players are more educated. It's that simple. Players are more edumacated. They know what they want to do. But here's the thing. In the years past, we used to have 3-block sets. Most of you guys remember them. 3 blocks, okay? Then they went down to 2 blocks. Then they went down to single standalone sets. Now, when you have a single standalone set, you need it to be successful. You need it to go off and fire on all pistons right away. And when most people are looking at the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I can tell you this after reviewing the information, the sales are abysmal. We haven't seen all the spoilers. Those come out next week. But as of right now, the sales are really low. Play booster boxes are next to nothing. And after the collapse, the bankruptcy of Karlov Manor, they were playing Monopoly. They had to turn that thing over and collect the $50 on the bankruptcy mortgage just to stay afloat. That's how bad that set's doing. And the prices are falling and Chicken Little style. You understand that gives you a net negative when you're going to the next set. And that's where we get when we start talking about the Outlaws of Thunder Junction. All those hints and teasers should be building you up with anticipation, and instead you're like, I'm going to stop at the door here. Why am I paying so much for this product? I just saw what happened with the murders at Karlov Manor. It got murdered with a candlestick in the dark, and no one knows why. Yeah, of course you know why. That set didn't perform. And now they are likely to have another set that is not going to perform, and that's what people have to understand. We talked a second ago about these 3-block sets, then 2-block sets. These are still block sets. People don't always realize it or want to admit it, but these cards are meant in Standard to interact with each other set over set. There's a reason why Streets of New Capenna started giving us raccoons. And you have sets in Thunder Junction, all kinds of ox. Remember like Paul Bunyan, the blue babe ox? We're now getting ox And you can tell right away, by the way, that blue ox is going to be an XX, and based on how many things you cast, it gets bigger and bigger. It's a simple thing, because the more Paul Bunyan fed his blue... Anyway, go look up the myth. It's kind of entertaining to see where they got some of their ideas from. But any educated Magic player will be able to tear apart the teasers and understand. I got a lot of emails, several different emails, asking about the desert mechanic and the desert card and the fact he hinted it here. Now, here's the disappointing thing. Those hints were probably written months ago by some low-level flunky I mentioned at the beginning. They got posted on a timer. They knew exactly when they're already pre-posted, ready to go. Unfortunately, some spoiler packs came out and we saw a desert card. It said desert, but it taps for green or for white. Okay? That's the desert they're talking about, I think, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and they could have a totally awesome desert that doesn't come into play tapped. It acts like a dual land, it taps for 2-color lands, and it's basically an amazing savanna that's been reworded as a desert. That could happen. It's just not likely to. And the fact that it's not going to, and that players can look at that, and an educated player will understand that, whereas somebody who's just hoping and dreaming that it's going to be something else, I hate to sink your battleship, but that's probably what's going to happen, because those spoilers were not intended to be spoiled and leaked. The hints were supposed to come out, and they came out on time. But the cards kind of connect, don't they? A desert with blah, 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 never been happened before. Because all the other desert cards, when you look them up, they don't tap for colored mana. This is the first time it's happened. It makes sense that that's a card. I hate to let you guys down that way, but when you've been around the game a long time, you really can pick this stuff apart. That's why you come to channels like this, to get the information of what actually is happening. So you're not going to go in there now thinking there's going to be dual lands and pre-order boxes, are you? Because you've seen the spoiler, you've watched this video, and now you know. Now you're edumacated. Get it? That it's now not going to work out the way that Wizards of the Coast had initially planned in their idea. And this is where their failure in marketing comes out pretty obvious. Because the plans that used to work no longer work. You had a set that crashed, you haven't changed your pricing structure, because you need it to go off well, and you need that income, and now you're not getting the income because the pre-order is going to be low. And you all heard that video, what was that, the thing on the website about 2 weeks ago, a week ago, saying that you have to put your pre-orders in now so you can get some kind of allocation, because if not, they're going to lower production numbers. That's going to happen. None of us are going to fall for a psychological trick of pre-ordering and paying up front and getting burned again. No player, even the ones who have a good pocketbook, pre-order very often now without seeing a lot of the cards. So until we start seeing all of Oko's gang and all these spoiler cards next week in the MTG Live, on Twitch, until we see all that and see what we're talking about, we're not going to bite. We're not going to take the bait like we used to, because you out there, you're smarter. You've learned. You've been burned enough times that you're just not going to fall for it. And Wizards will have to evolve. They will have to change their ideals, and they'll probably have to put a little water in their wine and either lower the pricing or give us a phenomenal set. And you can only do that so many times. I think Bloomburrow is going to be a phenomenal set, at least in story, if not game mechanics, because it's a standard set. Now, I want to touch back on the idea that these sets are all interconnected, because when you start bringing the sets for, you see the blue ox, but it's an animal. And you start seeing some of these other animals like varmints and stuff. Those are all meant, obviously, to connect to Bloomburrow. Although they're different worlds, it is almost like it's still a 3-block set. Because they're just different names, but the cards still intermesh and cooperate and synergize together to make your standard decks. And Wizards of the Coast does want standard to do well. They make a lot of money if players buy a lot of cards and rotate into standard. Now, a lot of players are very secure in their commander decks, but I think people fail to recognize how many commander decks people build. They're still buying cards all the time, because I'm doing it. I know many of you out there are doing it as well. So we're still buying cards. We're just not always buying the newest stuff right away. But you're still buying. So Wizards of the Coast wants to change your mind. They want to get you back in standard. And yes, there's definitely sparks of life coming into standard. I see more people playing. I'm playing it myself. Not spending a huge amount, but I am playing it a lot. to get that experience and to build and see if it's really going to be something again. And I think as they go along, they're either going to put water in their wine and lower prices, or they are going to jack up the output of maybe some power creep or maybe some cards that are really going to get players' interest in Standard. They won't be designed for Commander. They won't be designed as a premium card until 5 years down the road. They're like, hey, look at this cool card inside this set. Oh, it's almost impossible to get. Do you want to buy some cards and get it? They're going to try to tempt you. They're going to try to do a Rumpelstiltskin on you and offer you everything, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, to get you to buy these sets. And no, it may not be Thunder Junction, but there's a lot of sets coming up that already have players firing on 4 cylinders going, I can't wait. And we all know what those sets are. So guys, think about this. Take a few moments to just remember that the hints and clues is fun. Those teaser cards are great to contemplate and think about what they could do. But when you've been around the block a few times and you actually rationalize as a standard set what they're going to give you, it's not really hard to disconcern what's out there. And that does take away from the hype, the excitement, and the actual train of super hype that they're trying to build. Let me know though, guys, has this changed your mind? Are you guys going out there to buy the Outlaws of Thunder Junction? Or are you just going to let it slip by and wait for one of the sets that you really want to get? This is the information we need to know on the channel today, so put some comments down there. Are you excited by those teasers? Is there cards that have caught your interest? Or are you going to let the train go by the station and you're not getting on board? Either way, we have to know. Thanks again for stopping by the channel today. I look forward to another video tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Welcome back to the end of the video. You've made it to the patron board. These are the amazing patrons and YouTube membership members who make it happen. Without these patrons, guys, videos like this would not exist. So I want to take the moment every day in an individual thank you to the amazing patrons and YouTube membership members of this channel. Thanks again, everyone. Welcome back to the ramble and the jamble. Guys, how's it going, man? Welcome back, guys. Couple things to touch on. The sales are atrocious. They're doing horribly for Thunder Junction. For those people who've been sending me the emails, yes, I'm well aware, and it's scary to think about how badly it's doing. Pre-orders, I have no idea from some of the stores. They're all really low, and they haven't sold anything yet, so it makes it even scarier to think about. But I know a lot of stores didn't order heavy into this product, okay? I know that. I may do a video on that later when I get more specifics, but the fact that I haven't been given the collector box numbers freaks me out. Like, the bigger stores I deal with haven't given me the data, right? And the other places I look, it's next to zero. Play booster boxes are even worse, if that helps you guys at all. But we won't know anything until the spoilers really start dropping, because we haven't seen that many things, right? So as that data comes out, we may change our figures and change our minds a bit, and we're allowed to change, by the way. Anyone who says, oh, Moxman said this and now he changed his mind, that's right. We're allowed to change our minds because our opinions can change over time. That's just how it is, man. But it's kind of crazy, right? Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here at the end of the video as I wave my hands and try to get your attention and I pound my fists. Remember that from The Office? The Dwight, yeah, you guys remember. All right, I was gonna say we should put something in the comment section. You know what? Put an Office quote in the comment section, because yeah, I need a good Office quote. Put it in there for me.